It is tomato time, folks. Tomato time up here in the greenhouse in Michigan. Super excited to be able to get rolling here. Yeah, just checking in how things are looking. Prosper. It is hot in here. I mean, it is March. What is today? March 8th. And last I looked, we were at about 80 degrees here in the greenhouse. We're gonna be starting tomatoes here. We're gonna be looking at our. I've got a different varieties between determinate, indeterminate, and different things we're gonna have across the board. So you guys haven't been here before. My name's Ryan Howe. I'm actually a business coach. However, I come live here in the greenhouse out in the garden consistently throughout the spring, summer, and into the fall. Just working on my garden, doing things. And if you haven't been with us, this is kind of our setup that we have this year that we've been working on. I'm going to show you what we've been doing so far. I've got a little bit of work I got to do here, and then we're going to get into our tomatoes. So you can see, again, I do come here live, so make sure to hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you know when we do come live. Come out here and join us on the chat. We're out here again throughout the year, really just gardening and just kind of catching up. I mean, obviously, gardening is one of those things that we enjoy to do in solitude, but also it's also fun to get together and chat about these things. So what we're looking at here across the board here is something I started 2 weeks ago, give or take. And these are this big chunk in here. This is all my lettuces, different varieties. These are going to go for a month, and then I'm going to start my next batch. But I'm going to start moving these probably tomorrow, not today, because we're doing tomatoes today, right? Tomatoes are important. But we're going to be moving these here into their own containers so that they can kind of do their thing, and we'll be set for the year. So different varieties. We got mesclun. I got some butter lettuce. I got some black seed lettuce as well. We got some romaine doing its thing. And then over here, which you can see, you got some of the stuff coming up as well. Gonna scoot over here a little bit, bring you down a bit. There we go. So again, new rig we're trying out this year, so giving it a go. I've got some. This is coriander or our cilantro, right? As if you're familiar with that, that's going right here. And then I've got basil. It's starting to poke its little head up here as well. And then on the far side, which is the laggard, but we do see that we are getting some coming up here. We have here, this is going to be our spinach, right? And I'm going to start, there are going to be multiple spinach starts this year. I wanted to get some started in the greenhouse. It's going to make its way into its own little area as well. And then what we're going to do is then take the um, start some basic, and then we're gonna have some spinach. We're just gonna sow directly once we're past frost, and then I'll have a second bit of spinach here, which is nice in my area too because we are in a what are we in 7B, I think. I don't know. They just read. Long story short is I'm right by Lake Michigan, so we have the cold, we have the warmth, but during this time of year, especially going into the summertime, we get this nice long, just temperate, nice weather that all the brassicas, all of everything just does great. So, it's a little bit more forgiving because the lake does a great job of kind of moderating the temperature for us there. So, anyways, we have those there. Lettuce are doing their things, and we all know with lettuce, they do their thing. They get big pretty quick. So, we're gonna have that. All right. So, our next spot that we have to show you, as before we get into our tomatoes, it's gonna be this here. These are just some of our brassicas. I just want to be able to kind of show you where we're at with them. They're gonna be moving over to where my the setup that my lettuce was in, and my lettuce is gonna live up top here now that it's mostly germinated. It's gonna be up here. We're gonna have the greenhouse heater going in the evenings to keep everything above freezing in here, which we'll take a look at. But these guys all need to be thinned out a little bit too. Since I'm here, might as well do just a little bit of thinning. I have opportunity here. As you can see here, we got a couple. We're just gonna bring them down right here. And this is the Swiss chard that I have. Since I have the opportunity, we're just gonna go ahead and cut those back. And again, the ones that I'm looking to cut back here are the ones, if I have to make a decision, it's gonna be on the leggier side of things. What's also nice about this is I can pretty much get my brassicas, get my broccoli. We got eggplant, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, artichokes, kale, Swiss chard, and then I've got onions are coming up over here as well. So we're just kind of letting these guys do their thing, get happy. But you can just see we've got this stuff here. So those guys are all living their best lives. Top goes back on. Let them just kind of do their thing down here. Um, And then the other spot, just more just for just more to keep eyes on it than anything. Kind of keep everybody who's abreast who does come on the channel to hang out. We do take a look at these every single time because heck, why not, right? This is my first run, and I'll do probably 7 different batches of these. We got our different peas that are starting to pop up here as well too. So that's always a good sign. The peas are doing their thing. We love that. Cool. So they're starting to come up. And again, when it comes to peas, they really just need to be in here to germinate. And then once I kind of get them rolling, I'm going to move them out as soon as I can to the garden itself. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing here. We are all about tomatoes today. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. What is what we're after? Let me get my phone out of the sun there because it'll get toasty. Like I said, it is warm in here today. All right, we are talking about tomatoes today. That's what we want to get after. And we are going to be starting some determinate and some indeterminate. Just get my stuff here, folks. Determinate and indeterminate varieties. And we're going to do a pretty healthy batch of them with the intent of kind of thinning it down. I can do with my trellises that I currently have because I like to do a lot of tomatoes. I eat tomatoes constantly throughout the year. So I like to have indeterminate and then also the determinate varieties. So, we want the determinates all to come and do basically at the same time for canning purposes. And then the indeterminates just so I can eat, obviously have fresh vine ripe tomatoes throughout the year as well too. So we're got five different varieties that we're going to be looking at. And really, um, it's 4 because these are cherry tomatoes that we have that we're gonna be and this is all out of that we're testing this year is from the Organo Republic 55 seed pack that I got. Again, we're not sponsored. I like to try out different varieties that I have here. So we're gonna be only gonna do maybe a couple. I'm only doing a couple of these because really you don't need that many cherry tomatoes. Like, come on, we all know cherry tomatoes are cool, but man, they're weeds at the end of the day. We're gonna have some Roma tomatoes because Romas are always good to have for slicing just to have around and deliciousness. So I have them. We've got a red beefsteak variety, which I really enjoy. And again, we're gonna go over what the different types they are as well. So whether they're determinate or indeterminate, we're gonna get into what that means for those of you who don't know the difference between determinate and indeterminate tomatoes. And then we got 2 different varieties that I wanted to get here. So first, I ordered these specifically because these are a determinate, a bush style. You can just see the name on here. It is Plum Regal tomato seeds. They are again, a bush style that they grow in the cooler climates like where I'm at, and they're only going to get up to maybe 2.5, maybe 3 foot tall, bush style. Then they all are going to fruit at the same time and be ready to go. Again, for canning purposes. And then I've got this one, which is Magic Mountain Hybrid. Same similar idea to have this determinate style that is just going to grow, be ready to can up versus our beefsteak and our Romas, which, excuse me, Romas are determinate, but our beefsteak, which is indeterminate. And so let's go over what the difference is here. So, determinate means it's going to grow to a determined size, height, and then it's done growing, it's going to fruit, and that's the end of the plant for the year. Um, when it's indeterminate, it's going to grow for an indeterminate height. As long as there is a way to support it and there is water, sunlight, and heat, food and source, they'll just keep on growing. That's what they do. So again, it grows for an indeterminate amount of time. And I have trellises. I have a trellis system up that'll support both determinate and indeterminate. So that's where we're at. We just need to make sure we know which ones we're dealing with. Okay. All right. So what we're going to have here kind of walk you through this piece. We're going to do a little mixture here, get this up. We're going to get our seed starter, as we always do. We're going to get it mixing here. So I got some leftover from the other day. We had plenty left over. And you'll see this is one of the reasons I don't screen um my potting soil. It's just nothing that I do necessarily. There isn't, frankly, I've never really had any issues with it. I can usually catch all of those larger chunks of wood by hand, but that's why you screen it to be able to get all of this filler out of there. They do throw these things in, but for me, it's never really been that big of a bother. Nothing I'm really gonna like. I'm gonna lose sleep over. Okay, but for the tomatoes here, we're gonna do a little bit of a different mix here than just straight potting soil. I have got coconut husk. You can see this here that I have had soaking up some water. And what we're going to do here, you're going to see, so we start all of our, uh, how do I say this here? When it comes to your potting soil, it's very hydrophobic. It doesn't like to soak up water, right? You've all seen that thing where you've got to pre-start your mixes and stuff. I think how clean that is. Do I need to? I mean, I don't know. Well, that's how visible that is. I think it's okay. It's kind of hard to say. I don't want to go too bright with it. But anyways, it's hard to see on my computer. That's where I'm at, whether or not it's bright or not. Well, I guess we're gonna find out in real time. Um, so when you try to start your seeds, your potting mix, right? Your seed starter like this, we're gonna show you like how dry it is. You can just see how dry that is over there. It doesn't like to soak up water, and so one of the things you see is they always have you start those little pods that you can get, right? And you have them soak water, and it takes 45 minutes for them to soak up all the water and do the thing. Well, we just kind of cheat here. And we don't want to fill the pods up that we have, our seed starting our 1 inch pods that you have. We don't like to do that. Because it's just a pain, right? To have it soak up from the bottom. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna wet all this ahead of time. So we just pre-soak everything. Like that. Now pouring a bunch of water and just have it get nice. And then just work it in. Work it by and this is also gonna allow me to mix in that coconut husk as well. Now what that coconut husk is gonna do, that's just another bit of basically a little amendment that's going to help it absorb and hold water. That's really what I want to be able to have here when we're doing this. So this is a mixture. You know, it's again, if I had to do math on it, I'd say it's probably, you know, 60-40 between the coconut husk and the potting soil, right? And you can see just how the difference here, how easy that is when we were talking about we had the all of that potting soil went in here and it was dry as a bone and the water was bouncing right off of it. Well, what we did is we just get in here and we work it ourselves this way. So now we've got a pre-soak on there so we can get right to it. Like that's what we want. We want to be able to hop right into this and get right to a good soak here um, as we're starting these tomatoes, right? Because we want to have everything ready to go. So that's what that looks like, folks. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna move this out of the way. By out of the way, I'm gonna just move it to the left over here. Excuse me while I adjust a couple things. You guys can see me in the lower left-hand corner there as I'm working. All right, we're doing this real time here. So hopefully, if you guys have any questions or, you know, obviously anybody who's joining us, feel free to hop in the chat and let me know where you're at, if you're doing any gardening, what you're working on. The big part of what we do here is just get to know each other. All right, so we got that over there. And what we're going to fill, as I like to have a bunch to go here, is going to be our 70. All right, let me count this out here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 times 6, 72 pods. So this is going to be for 72 plants. In my garden, I can do, under my trellises, I can do 50, what, 8, I can do 7 times 8, so it's 56. I don't expect all of these to make it. There's always going to be some stragglers in there, but also, there's going to be some plants that I'm going to want to keep in the greenhouse, just keep them growing in here so I can have some protected stuff. I do like to also just have some stuff growing in the greenhouse here. So what we do here is it's pretty simple. Now that we've got everything moistened up, right? What we're going to do, and we don't overthink it, just to be clear here. Now we don't have any water underneath here. Now when you pick up your sets, make sure that you have the 3-tier system, which is the for holding water. Then you get your pods where the soil goes, and then there's a plastic that's going over the top. You want to make sure you have those. Okay, always get that, just so that way you can bottom water your plants. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to come in here and just get all of our pods and just fill them up here. fill them up. Not really worrying about whether it's even or not. We just want to get them in to the top because it's two steps to this. Just because they're filled doesn't mean that they're filled. Like that's one of the things to keep in mind here. Just because it looks like it's filled to the top does not mean that these are filled because they are not. I can promise you that. Okay, put this over here. And again, these gloves that I have here, they've got the rubber bottom, they got the cloth on the back. You can get these from any of the box stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, etc. I think they're like maybe $9 for a 6 pack, and I'll go through a couple of them during the year. They're just great. They give you a little bit of tactile when it's warm out. They help kind of keep your hands from being waterlogged from being in the stuff, but they also breathe, right? So you don't end up with that sweaty, yuck, nasty stuff. You know what I'm talking about? So no one likes that. No one likes that for us. Now, one of these streams too, when we come live here, we got to figure out what to do with my new subscribe thing. Got to figure out where to put this thing. Still not 100% where I want to hang this in here, or if I'm even going to hang it, if it's going to, you know, uh, make it. Maybe it'll end up in the garden following us around as we're working on stuff. I don't know. But I want to have it. Okay, so as you can see, we got these all filled up here, right? You can just kind of see everybody's kind of there. Come down here, take a look. You can see, right? We're all filled up there. Everyone's kind of got some stuff. Well, what we're going to do now, the problem is that they're not filled up. Like that's the issue. If you go here, we have to tap down and you'll see that one, how it came down there. Like that's the issue we're running into. And we want to make sure that we're staying on track of here and staying on top of that it isn't actually full. There's air pockets in here. The other thing is we're just going to be looking for any of these chunks of wood that are going to be exist in here that we would have screened out if we screened this, but frankly, um, it's just like extra steps that I'm not really a big fan of doing. And I can just take care of it as I'm going along here. Not that big of a deal. Now, with that, there is something to be said, and I'm not saying you do you. Everybody, other folks it works for them, they want to screen their stuff. Go ahead. I mean, that's just for me, just what works for me doesn't have it may not work for you. You do whatever you feel you want to do in here. I'm not going to tell you, obviously, here to tell you how to run your stuff. If you like screening your potting soil and your seed starter, please do. It's just not anything that I necessarily do. But you can see on some of these, like I mean, we got like this much where the air pockets were at, right? As far as filling these things. So that's why we go through and we always press down. Just going to take care of any air pockets that are in here. It's just a little bit of prep work, nothing too crazy. And then we're just going to come back again and refill them. And just refill them up. That's what it looks like, folks. Zero stress, not worried about stuff. We're just filling in these pods. And again, this is a mix of, 60-40 between potting soil and coconut husk that I just get off of Amazon, the coconut husk. It comes in these bricks. I'll show you one real quick I'm gonna switch over here real quick, folks. So it comes in, it'll come in these boxes right here that you'll have, and they come like, I think it's 6 or 5 per, and they come in bricks, just like this. And what I do, and you can just, if you want to do your seed starter all in coconut, you can. I mean, your seeds don't care. They'll start in whatever. But what I do is I put them in this bucket. You put them in a bucket or something that's going to hold water, and then you just pre-moisten them, and you end up with this slop here. But it's great, right? The seeds will go in it, and it holds water. Like that's the main reason you want it. It holds a ton of water. So let me switch back over to my overhead here. Again, hopefully everybody who's on is having a good day today. Good to see everyone. It's for some of you've never been on here before. Obviously, good. Hopefully, earn your subscription here. But we've got a lot planned this year. It's going to be fun in the greenhouse. I can tell you that much. Greenhouse is going to be part of it, but I've got my chicken coops in the garage. Just waiting to put it together. I may do that tomorrow if it's nice out. But I've got to start my strawberries tomorrow. Start them as in wake them up. They've they're under they're under a whole bunch of leaf mulch right now that I need to fix that situation and clear it out. Okay. So as you can see now, we got all the pods kind of there, looking pretty good, folks. Easy peasy. And I can just take my remaining potting soil that I had. It is what it is, right? It's over there. Okay. So now I can lose the gloves here, and we're gonna get started with our seeds. So with that, we need our seed. I make sure I get the right name for this thing. This is a seed dibber, according to the what do they call us on here. But I've had one of these for years. They call the seed dibber. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with this. So I've got 72 sections here. I've got 4 that I need to do. Four, well, 5 technically, but like it's only gonna be like this last. Matter of fact, let's do the first row. Let's get the cherry tomatoes out of the way because, like I said, I'm only gonna have a couple cherry tomatoes going. But let's learn about these cherry tomatoes. Again, anytime that you are, I highly recommend if you're starting your seeds, anytime you're working, even if you've worked with them a ton, we always want to make sure that we're spending time reading up on them just to make sure. What I love about this too is they come with this cool little QR code so you can learn about your growing guide. All right, so it's an indeterminate cherry type. So right, so as we learned earlier, indeterminate means it'll grow as long as there is soil, water, sun, and it's warm. Like it'll just grow, right? So we got that piece. So it's indeterminate, yields plentiful, bright red, round, 1 to 1 1/4 inch diameter, sweet, flavorful fruits. Tell me that's not what you're looking for. Now I do like the yellow and the orange ones, but it is what it is. So here's the deal: we want to sow seeds inside. Um, we want to have them basically 1/4 inch deep, 1/2 inch apart, and seed starting mix. Keep it 70 to 85 until germination, which is what we'll do. That's part of what the warming mats that we have underneath these trays around here, that's what they're meant to do is keep these at that temperature from 70. They keep them around 75 degrees, give or take, until germination. Once they germinate, we can have them up. They don't need to stay as warm. We're gonna have the greenhouse. We'll have the heater going in here, and we'll keep them warm until I see the first like real true leaves come out. Then they're just gonna be kind of out to whatever on that. Not worry about starting outside. So really, again, we can soak the seeds in warm water but we're not worried about that. We're just gonna make sure they're warm. All right, so let's get into them here. Open them up, and we'll take a look at the seeds. I think you're gonna be amazed to see that these look exactly like tomato seeds, but you never know. It'll be exciting. There we go. They look like tomato seeds. There they are in all their glory. Tomato seeds. Okay, so we're gonna just do a couple per. I don't need all of them out, but here we'll put this out here so you guys can see make sure you know what we're doing here. And then we're going to start over here. Now with this, on these seed dibbers, right? What I like about them, you can't really tell them this one per se, but they have these markings all the way along the side here that are going to tell you the different depths, right? So there's 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. There's some, and again, that's in freedom units. If you want to talk to our metric friends, they've got centimeters, half centimeters, etc., millimeters down there. So these all need to be a 1/4 inch, like that. I mean, that's pretty standard. And the thing is, for when you are planting your seeds, if you ever lose the case or whatever, yes, you can look it up, but just they need to be seeds always need to be planted. Basically, rule of thumb is twice as deep as they are like thick. So you can see these things are just thin as can be. So we really just want them in there. They don't have a lot of juice in them, lack of a better phrase, to get rolling. We just want them out there. Now with that, there are certain varieties that you have to have. They need sunlight in order to germinate. So make sure you know which type of those varieties are. And again, I'm just dropping 2 in each one here. Not going crazy with it. Don't want to pack them in because one of these 2 is going to be a sacrificial. Isn't going to make the cut. We all know that. because we're gonna have some start. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna put the rest of them in here. And what I typically do with these seeds, so the seeds are really only good for 1 year. Once my garden is up and running and I have different areas, I'll go toss these out in the garden in random spots just so I could have some extra cherry tomatoes growing wherever. And they always tend to take off. They do well. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna just drop these off to the side here. Let me go ahead and get my where is it at here? I get my marker. I just need my where is it at? Oh, got my plant labels right here. So we're gonna make sure that these are marked. And when you're marking these, couple things, you need to know how long these take to how long they are to fruit. So in this case, we can write these on, but I mean, these things start fruiting pretty quick. They're cherry tomatoes, but it should be around, my guess, going to be 90, yeah, 90 days. This is 85 days to harvest. It'll tell you, like in this case, it tells me just on the corner over here how long, but it's usually 90 days when it comes to cherry tomatoes. Um, it's just kind of where they're at. There's different hybrids, like some of your slicing tomatoes, they'll be done in um I mean, it's amazing how quickly, like some of them are 60 to 80 to 75 days for the slicer tomatoes like that. Those things are cooking. Not as flavorful per se, right? Because they're a rapid tomato, but they're still, still fresh tomatoes in your garden. Okay, so these are going to be cherry tomato. We're just going to write down what they are. I'm going to put cherry tom. I'm going to be able to decipher that's cherry tomato. I promise. Today is the 8th. We're going to put 3-8, and then it's going to be 85. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Got the redhead stopping in to say, hey, oh, she found this. Oh, hey, honey, are you going to take care of some of that stuff out there? Yeah, there's no need today. You can take care of it tomorrow. Thanks for that. All right, love you. Redhead, she found my other subscribe thing. Show you guys that. And then we're gonna put 85 in here. 85 at the bottom. It's kind of hard for you to read, but trust me, Ryan can make sense of that. So I got cherry tomato, the date, and then the number of days it takes for harvest, right? 85. And what we do, I'm gonna come back over here and just show you how I do this on here. All right. So now these are all ready to be covered over here. So we're just going to come back and gently just cover them. Remember, we're just looking to just barely cover these seeds up. These are tomato seeds. They're tiny. They're pretty gentle, right? Just doing their thing. So we got those there. And then because we're going to have the cover on this, it doesn't really stick. So I just put it down just like that. Easy peasy. But so we got our cherry tomatoes. Nice work, everybody, man. We are killing it here right now. So hey, T Soto, what's happening? How you doing? I had the redhead chat with me a little bit, so distracted me from the chat for a minute. So we are cruising here today. We just got our cherry tomatoes rolling there, living our best life. Next, we're going to do our Roma tomatoes. Okay. No, actually, I'm going to do the beefsteak next to that because beefsteaks are another one where I don't necessarily. I mean, they're great to have. Um, But yeah, I mean they're beefy, right? Like if you're down in the lower corner, like they're beefy, right? So let's get some education on these here before we go through the exact same process here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, and these are indeterminate, so I'm gonna have these up. Um, so I'm probably gonna do 1, 2, yeah, I'm probably gonna do 3 rows of beefsteak and then three. I want to make sure I think this through here now. I'm gonna do 2 rows of beefsteak 2 rows of beefsteak, and then we're gonna do everything else. Okay, so here is the variety we have. We have these beefsteaks here. Indeterminate beefsteak, as we're looking at the name here, it's an indeterminate beefsteak tomato with large, up to 2 pound fruit. My goodness, that's beefy. Beefsteak, right? Really good flavor on these things though, and months of production, which we love. And these do keep going. I had some of these after frost this year, as a matter of fact, which was kind of great. We actually had them after the frost. They survived a couple. So so you'll see though, we're in May when we can have these outside. So I'm shooting basically for mid-May to have these out in the garden. I think we're going to be okay this year. It's just been one of those years. But we're going to do it's same thing, 1/4 inch deep. Now we're about 1/2 inch apart. Um, we're going to get them germinating, and then they're going to live up here with plenty of light, right, to get them strong, and then we'll break them out so they can do their piece. They're going to be under grow lights to start. Like that's the other piece. These will be under grow lights to get rolling, and then once they're up and we have um, the first real leaves are in there, they don't need to be under the grow lights anymore. They can just grow off of wasted light come over here. By that time, I will have pulled well, long story short, by that time, there'll be plenty of light coming through here. No real issues. Okay, so with this, we got 1/4 inch on all these, and we're gonna do three, we're gonna do two and three, three and three. Yeah. So we're gonna do these two is gonna be where our beefsteak's gonna live. So let's go through here. And like I say, when I go through, I'm just looking to see if we have anything in here that was going to be a problem. And for the most part, it's usually pretty good. So we're just making a little indentation, nothing crazy here, folks. But I do feel that. So let's get that guy out of there. All right, we got this here. There's that. That spot there. This one here. Oh, yeah. The redhead, she got me this. Let me grab this real quick. I bet you I can find a home for this right here. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Thanks, Red. We are kicking now. Look at that. We are dangerous. I got subscribes all over the place now. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. See what this looks like. How much you guys want to bet? Just let's put bets in the chat here. So, yeah, I love it, right? Thank you. Yeah, who here wants to bet that these look like tomato seeds, right? We had a little game we were playing last time, just looking at our different seeds that we had. All right, now nice. Look at that. Here's our seeds that we have here. Amazing that this little dudettes here are going to end up being 2-pound fruit at some point. That's so cool. All right. So, how do you how do you like the overhead look here versus what I had last year? Obviously I was on shorts, you know. Like last year, we were on shorts. This is all we really had. I had to move it around all the time. I had a lot of people ask me if I was willing to come over here and like do something like this, but I had extra cameras that I got in so I could do this stuff. I thought this would be an interesting change this year. What do you think? Is it worth the time and energy? I mean, I do. I just frankly, I like to be able to have a little extra production value. But all right, so with this, we're gonna do 2 to 3. Okay, cool, awesome, great. Um, hey, one thing I've been asking folks that are watching and subscribers, if there's any way you could possibly share, I don't know what that would look like for you, maybe on Facebook for me or something, just to share, hey, these videos that are out there for folks to come watch and learn. I'm trying to figure out how to. I'm at 250 some odd subscribers right now. I'm just trying to get to that monetized, and I don't know, how to make that jump, especially like in this world where you know, I know this guy. So if there's any chance you could share me on Facebook, like, hey, this is going on, that'd be pretty cool. So, but yeah, that's what we got. We got beefsteak right now doing the thing. So, and then just like we talked about before we close these up, we're gonna write out. Right, I got ahead of myself. So these are the beefsteak. These are also 75-day harvest on these. So, that's pretty cool. But that's for the first harvest. Remember, these are indeterminate, so these are going to produce at 75 for 100 and 160. So it's a lot. So we had, and again, please excuse my writing here. Man, I'm actually sweating here a little bit. It is nice in here. My poor wife, she was just in here, stopped by. She's like, it's freezing and windy outside, and I'm like, I'm in here like I have sweat. So that's beefsteak. Today again is the 8th, so we're gonna do 3/8, 3/8, and then we're gonna do 75 on this. Ooh, exciting! All right, now before we put these down, we're gonna go ahead and just cover these up here. All right, we're gonna cover them up here, and again, lightly cover your seeds up, folks. Again, This is one of those things with tomatoes. You know, they're pretty resilient, pretty hardy little. I mean, I can't. That's one thing. Like in my garden, I have tomatoes growing every year from the previous years. They just kind of grow wherever. The seeds tend to land. But for whatever reason, sometimes in here they just don't want to get rolling. You know what I mean? So pretty wild. Just one of those things. So okay. I want to see what the temperature is real quick before we get on to our next one. Is it? Yeah, we're at 80 degrees in here. Woof, 80. Love it. Now, again, for those you guys that don't know, this is a full greenhouse, but I've got obviously my bubble wrap on this side, and then on this side, I've got foam insulation all the way around uh, the rest of the greenhouse. So basically, help maintain their temperatures here. Okay, so now we are going to get into our determinate tomatoes. Determinate tomatoes. So let's get and that's going to be. And I've got three varieties that we're going to do here. I've got the Roma, like we said, the Plum Regal, and then I've got the Mountain, which we'll take a look at here. Okay, so these are Romas. I mean, I lived in Italy. I just love Roma tomatoes. They're great slicing, good to just have all the time. So let's go. So this determinate, and it's a plum type of tomato, is prized for its use in tomato paste and sauces. 100% on that one. The bright red fruits are egg shaped with 3 inches long, thick walled, meaty with few seeds, and they're delicious. And this is 80 days to harvest. So again, this is determinate. So we're going to get a whole bunch of these in, what's going to end up being almost 3 months. It won't be two and a half, like 80 days. It'll end up being 3 months. So 3 months from now. So that's March, that's April, May, June. Get a whole bunch of them. That's going to be so great. Um, Love that for us. Cool. So let's get our, um, where's my dibber at? Dibber, right? We got to get our seed dibber. And it's going to be these three right here. So it's going to finish off this tray. So we got one tray down, one to go. Like we're cruising here. Um, the earlier I did a quick little live stream. I ended up deleting the audio was bad on it. We were out. I was out in my like the front corner of my lot. Um, Taking up my dead zinnia plants from last year. It's a whole corner because we're gonna start having all of our tulips and other bulbs. The spring bulbs are gonna start coming up. So I just want to kind of clear the playing field for them a little bit. And I don't know, it was just good to be back out there again. It's been a while since I've been able to. We've had a ton of snow up until this week, really. It's just been like tons and tons and tons and tons of um of snow. So it's good to have that kind of gone. But yeah, and those zinnias I started those all last year. Um Started them all so I could put them out there and have a bunch there. So thanks to everybody who's joined. It looks like we're getting some folks coming in here. Good to see everyone. Yeah, so those that haven't been here before, you just caught me. We have just been doing some tomatoes here. I've got some cherries started. We also just did our beefsteaks, and we're getting into our Roma tomatoes right now. So welcome everybody who's kind of making their way in here. This mix that you see here is actually a mixture of potting soil, and I have some coconut husk in as well too. Earlier, we walked through the process of mixing those up, but now we are getting ready to get our Romas started. It is that time of the year in Michigan for us to get rolling with this stuff. So we are going to get there. So again, let's see what these seeds look like. How much you want to bet they look like tomatoes? Let's see. Come on, guys. Now, what we're using here again, come on, guys. I know you're in there. Let's go. There's more of you in there. I see you. This is the Organo. Make sure I can get the name right here because I always mess this up. So these seeds are all except for the next two that are coming. I ordered them special. This is a pack that I got from Amazon. It's the Organo Republic 55 seed collection. We're trying it this year. I've never actually used it before, but I thought I'd give it a go. Um, where it's got a ton of different stuff. So we've been starting them all. We'll take another look through the what we've already got started as far as different lettuces, spinach. I've got some basil. We got all sorts of goodies going here, but we're working our way through this pack right now. And with that, there we go. There they are. Look at now we have seeds. Okay, that's all of them. That's all of them. Got our Roma tomatoes here. So what we did is again following the directions because we always follow the directions on our seeds. Super important, right? Because they're going to tell us how to do this. We're doing a 1/4 inch depth. Tomato seeds are always just barely anything there. So again, if you've never been on the channel before, anybody who's joining us right now, welcome. I come here live pretty consistently, so be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know when I come live out here in the greenhouse, out in the garden. Uh, we are out pretty consistently. I'm gonna try to do some lives. We'll see when I'm out hunting mushrooms this year. I'm gonna be out going for morel mushrooms as well too, so that'll be pretty fun. I did some morel hunting last year. I tried to do it live. Um, it did okay, but I'm in kind of where I'm at obviously is away. But this year I'm gonna have Starlink on my phone, so I don't know, we'll give it a try. I'll record either way. But yeah, come live, we come talk about gardening. Let me know in the chat if you have anything, if you've started stuff, what you're starting, what you have going on, any questions per se. I mean, it's busy time for me. It's starting to, obviously got to start re-waking everything back up. Tomorrow I'll be waking up my strawberries, at least getting them started. Um, as far as breaking off I think maybe a couple more there, a couple more there we go. Got to get them the leaf mulch off of them. If you have, again, for those of you who have, again, just kind of walk you through where we got here. So we're going to be working on my leaf mulch, getting off of the strawberries, waking them back up. I'm going to have, which is important. You got to get that. I've got to trim them back out. I've got straw we're going to put on top of that after we put a whole bunch of fertilizer down. Because once the strawberries get growing, they're going to be voracious and going to go after that. I've got to wake up my compost. It's mostly frozen. I got to break it out, re-wake it back up because I've got to put it all in my garden. My garden is all over there, that direction. Whole bunch of my garden over there. We got that we got to work on. I've got a chicken coop we got to get up and running. So we got all sorts of stuff going on here. And again, I'm just some dude who works in his garden, comes live here. If you know a better way, I love to hear about it in the chat. Like I'm most of the stuff I go on YouTube just like you're on now, try to figure these things out. But my chat is really where I've learned a lot. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all are dope. Love you guys. All right. So with that, this has all been pre-moistened, but what we're doing is we're just going to give everything a nice light covering this back up, right? Of all of our seeds here. I need this real quick though. We gotta write up on our stuff here once we get these covered. And as I mentioned, I just put these on here because I do have a case that goes over the top of this, so I can't really have them sticking up right now. Once they move over to a different setup and they germinate and I see some true leaves, the top comes off and then, they're living their best life out here. I do have to have my heater running out in the greenhouse, unfortunately. Um, we still gonna have cold red frost here in Michigan for quite some time. It is what it is. I mean, I know where I live. Okay, so let's get my label on here so we can know what we're up to, folks. All right, so we have got Roma. Like I mentioned before, uh, started by hot and sweet peppers, tomatoes, eggplants. Yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I've got my eggplants. They haven't actually my eggplants. Where are they at? I think I have one germinating. They're starting to do that too. Cool. What do you got? Sweet peppers. Yeah, good luck on eggplants. It's one of the ones that we do okay here. They're kind of a challenge at times. But there's a group of us. We're working on getting that figured out between us. And then what do we got here? Started hot and sweet peppers. What kind of hot peppers did you do? Just curious. All right, so this is Roma. I mean, do you got? Let me get. Is it like we got some Korean pepper overwintering. Good for you. That's what I'm talking about. Anybody that's watching here right now, overwinter your peppers if you can. Why, that way the root system's already there. They'll come back strong and vibrant. There's plenty of things on YouTube how to do that. So this is Roma. Today is again the 8th, just double checking. 3/8. So we do get a 3/8, and this is and 80 days to harvest on these, right? 80 days to harvest. This is just so that I'm aware where they're at. And I'm just going to pop it right here. And what this just lets me know that This is where they're at. Okay, cool. Hey, it's the thing. Some are gonna make it, some aren't. That's okay. It's the right where we at. It's the circle of life, right? We do our best to try to keep them rolling, but they are what they are. Okay, so this next one, I'm gonna have to do a little research in real time here. Is so these are plum regal. They are a determinate variety, a bush plant. So I'm gonna go here. All right, jumping up over here again. Appreciate everybody hopping on and jumping in the chat too. So man, I'll tell you, it's love to be able to have conversations with folks on this. Okay, so I just want to do plum regal, tomato. All right, so I can give you guys the deets on what this is here. Here we go. Back to where we're at here. So this is the plum regal. It is um, it's a determinate hybrid tomato that variety known for producing high yields of blocky 4-ounce plum tomatoes that are deep red in color and have good flavor, resistance to several diseases. That's why I want to have them here. Medium-sized plant. They're blight resistant, all the stuff you want to be resistant. So 75 days. That's what I wanted to see. 75 days. So we're gonna have all sorts of tomatoes coming ready at the same time, which is always dope. We love that for us. Okay, so I tell you, and I did, by the way, I did take a look at my just real quick. Let me hop back over here for you guys. So I did take a look at my strawberries. I kind of did a little sneak peek on them just to see. And yeah, the crowns on most of them looked pretty good. The leaf mold did what it was supposed to do. It froze and then it, protected the overall crown. Everything else kind of froze, but the crowns are all green, looking pretty good. So I should have most of my strawberry plants make it, which is fine. We want them to make it, and then we will, the runners will take care of any other propagation that I need to have, or I can always, as always, you can always just go pick up strawberries. They're going to be up this time of year. One of my clients is a landscaping folks, and they have greenhouses too, so I can always just ask them and go buy from them. 'Cause they're going to have the good stuff. All right, so we did these three. So this next one is going to be three right here. Okay, so we're going to do three, and this is going to be quarter. We already know this is going to be quarter-inch down, lightly cover them, and then go from there. So plum regal seeds. Here we go. What a cool gig, though. Also to be selling seeds. Uh, super sweet. 100 cherry tomatoes. Heavy. I have. I did those last year. Especially how they come out. So I'll have more this year. I'm not worried about cherry tomatoes. They're gonna be. I had beefsteaks that grew back after the previous year. I always leave my tomatoes up. I don't ever bring. I don't do take the actual plants down until the spring until I do my next planting. I put down fresh compost, but the birds and everything. There's always tomatoes falling all over the place. So I have. I am gonna have plenty of cherry tomatoes. I can tell you that much. But yeah, they're really good. We have we had so many cherry tomatoes last year as well. I was also testing out a bunch of varieties to see what I liked. So, like with anything, it's a great thing about having a garden. You can kind of play around and get the stuff that you like. Now, I do want to go back over for those that weren't here when we did this as far as getting our potting soil squared away. One of the things that I want you to we did and have to keep in mind here is, we pre-moistened everything. So we're not sitting around waiting for everything to, soak up the water. We pre-moistened everything. But what we also did was went through and we pushed down on all of the different pots here to make sure there was no air pockets in here. Because one of the things you run into is there's air pockets. So those roots, right? And we're gonna do a sideways view on this. So the roots are going down, 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 and they hit this air pocket. They've got nowhere to go, so they have to expend all this extra energy to move around to try to find right someplace to go. So we want all those air pockets gone, so the roots can just straight down to where they got to get to. Okay, so that's why we always get rid of air pockets. That's the main reason. We don't want them expending any extra energy on anything other than growing strong plants, not trying to figure out how to find their footing. Okay, so plum regal tomato seeds. Let's go. And we're gonna do I got a bunch of these. So we've got was that 18, give or take? So I could do like three per. We'll just kind of, oops, well, that was more than three per, and whoopsies. I think that's going to be kind of a recurring theme here. If I'm actually able to do three per, I would be shocked because, obviously these things are tiny. There we go. There we go. Man, you can tell I'm concentrating. I stopped talking, and that ain't normal for me. Okay, so I think we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be able to. Okay, there we go. Then there's much rejoicing. So let's go ahead and just load the rest of these up here. I'm gonna pop these back in here as well. I may mid-season. A lot of times I'll just start stuff, right? So I get just like a fresh, brand new tomato plant growing or whatever. It's one of the things. Got the greenhouse, so I'll put it out here. But also when I'm starting all of my like fall my fall variety, my later season stuff, restarting brassicas, different things. I'll start new cucumbers. I'll start stuff just to be able to get some fresh, that brand new fresh stuff. Same thing with herbs. So I will constantly just be starting stuff in here, knowing it's not going to live its full germination cycle. That's cool. But we want it, but you got the space, might as well do it, right? Okay, cool. So those are all done. So we need our next label here. Here we go. And this is going to be Plum Regal. Plum Regal. And I saw this off of a um another YouTuber, one of them homesteaders they had, and this is an 80 day. Oh boy, 80. There you go. So there's that one there. So now we are just down to this last bit here, our last one that we've got, which is going to be. Oh, hey, so also this is going to be real quick. So this is going to be Mountain. It's a Mountain Magic F1 hybrid, and of course, if they put tomato on there, because it sounds like a pot, electric lettuce instead of that name, Mountain Magic F1 hybrid, right? So what I did do this last year, which again, I highly recommend tea soda if you're out there. There's something called Cucamelon. If you were, I'm not sure if you were on last year, saw me with that, but I've already got my Cucamelon seeds ready to go. They need warm temperatures, but I'm going to grow cucamelons in here in the greenhouse and have them everywhere. They're so good. They're little here. So they're only about this big, the actual fruits, right? But they look like little watermelons, but they're like it tastes like a cucumber, like a real fresh cucumber. And they just grow like vines all over the place and they're great. Love every bit of them. All right, so and see what we got here. We got our seeds, so we're going to get into this area right here. It's our last part of the tray here. Get any of these bigger chunks of tree out of here. Again, if you want to screen your potting soil ahead of time, go ahead, please do. I just don't. It's not one of the things I do. Um, maybe someday I will. I'll decide the extra effort's worth it, but I still have yet to come. I still have yet for that day to be today. That day. So, all right. We're just again. These are going to be a 1/4 inch down. That's all we're looking for. Just a 1/4 inch. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing there. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, trust me. And a cucamelon, I can't remember where I came across them. If you go look at some of my older shorts that I have, I think I have one on my cucamelons. Of course, the main issue I had with my cucamelons is the mice were getting in here and eating my cucamelons last year. They were chomping down on them, which I didn't like. So I had to come up with a system to make the mice not around anymore, which worked pretty well. That problem tended to take care of itself. All right, so got this. We have our Mountain Magic F1 hybrid tomatoes. So we're going to give these a try, see how they do. Same thing. We're just going to be looking at, just try to get a couple seeds in each. Again, you can tell I'm focusing because my mouth stopped running. I had a teacher that told me that once. They could always tell when I was focused because I stopped talking. One of my I guess you could call one of my more redeeming qualities is that I'm good for background noise, I guess. I guess is the best way to say that. I keep on chatting. So, all right. So those are saved there. Cool. So let's go ahead and before I cover these up, let's go ahead and do our spot here, which is going to be these are the mountain hybrid. What just fell back there? Oh, it's my dibber. My dibber. All right. So these are mountain hybrid. Yeah, matter of fact, I got to actually look up how long they're going to be. So let's take a look here real quick. Mountain hybrid, mountain F1 hybrid, magic F1. All right. So this is a 2 ounce fruit, 75 days. 75 days on this one. So this is mountain magic. Mountain magic 3.8. So we went in and it's 75. So yeah, we're just gonna have a whole like and this is what we want, especially when it comes to canning and other things. You want all your fruit basically coming together at the same time. You don't want this to be you know, some do here, some do that. You want everything at once so you can just load up and if you're gonna have your hands basically dealing with tomatoes, that level of tomatoes and this how much it takes over the entire kitchen, right, in your area. You just want that to be pretty solid. So, just get it all done at once. Okay, cool. So there we go. All right, so this is where this is set. Now we're just going to do one thing. I'm going to show you how I do this here. These guys here, those guys are there. Okay, what this looks like. So I'm going to take this off, take these out, and you can see how I got some water in here already? The water has been draining out. We need to solve that problem. So what we're going to do is with my handy dandy bucket here, we're going to fill it back up just till it's kissing the bottom of these things. The bottom, you want it just to the bottom of the pods there. Doesn't need to be up too high because they're already hydrated. We're going to do that. And then I'm going to throw the lid on top. All right, our lid these. So say goodbye to them, folks. We'll come check on these in a week and see if we got any germination. They normally take a little longer than that, but that's okay. So they're going to go there. They're going to head down to the lower levels here where I have some warming pads and just a couple lights doing their thing. And the lights are more just for inspiration down here. I have than anything on a couple of them. Okay, so there's those there. So let's take a look again. That's kind of where let's take a look at for those that weren't here at the beginning. Here's our lettuces that we have. The lettuces are doing their thing, looking pretty good. Everybody's kind of popping up here. And really, I'm very happy with where these are at. Actually, this guy here is going to go. Give this guy a little taste. That's one of the benefits of starting all these. You get to munch on your lettuce too while it's going there. But you can see we have over here. We are getting germination on our spinach, so those are definitely popping up now, which is good. And over here, we do have cilantro is germinating, so that's a good thing there. Oop. Well, that guy didn't make it. That's no good. All right. That's okay. I got more there, and then we got our basil coming up here. I do want to check their water. They do need a little bit of water in there, so we're going to go ahead and just give them just a little bit since we're here. And they will need to be once the lids come off like this, they have to be you have to keep an eye on their water. When the lids are on, it's not as imperative because they have it's an enclosed system for the most part. Not that big of a deal. All right. So that pretty much does it there, folks. Again, uh, that's it for tomatoes. I really want to get tomatoes started today. We're gonna work on getting some other stuff throughout the next over the next week. I'm probably gonna be out here pretty much every single day for the next week in the either in the afternoon and the evening. So if you have enjoyed being on here, again, hopefully you subscribe. Be sure to hit that notification bell. You'll see where we're at. But I've got the laundry list to go through of things to get started because it is getting there. I've got more lettuce we got to get started. We're going to be actually out in the garden too because I'm going to start working some of the ground that where I had last year's brassicas at, where I have some of my carrots at. We're going to start actually getting the broad fork out and start breaking some of that up because I'm going to be able to get some, uh, start getting some of these things planted here in the next month. And I just kind of want to get in front of that. Like I said, there's more work going to be going on in and around the homestead itself. So, again, be sure to subscribe, follow, take care, and hey, I will see you next time. Enjoy your time on the gardening. It doesn't get better than this, folks.